The house stood alone, shrouded in an eerie silence. It was a Gothic mansion, weathered and neglected. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stared out at the world. Lucas shivered, pulling his coat tighter against the encroaching darkness. He had been told the house was empty, abandoned years ago. Yet he could sense eyes watching him, their gaze like icy fingers tracing his spine. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying wood. Lucas took a hesitant step closer, each footfall echoing in the stillness. Lucas's grandfather, a man he had never met, had recently passed away. The news came as a surprise, not because of the death itself, but because Lucas had never known much about his grandfather. He was a figure shrouded in mystery, a man who had lived a life full of secrets and untold stories. Lucas had always been curious about him, but his family rarely spoke of the old man. Now, with his passing, a door to the past had been opened, and Lucas felt an inexplicable pull to uncover the hidden chapters of his grandfather's life. Among his possessions was a tarnished silver key, its purpose a mystery. The key was unlike any Lucas had ever seen, with intricate designs etched into its surface, hinting at a story long forgotten. It was heavy, cold to the touch, and seemed to carry the weight of countless memories. Lucas couldn't shake the feeling that this key was more than just a simple object. It was a link to his grandfather's enigmatic past. The accompanying letter mentioned a house on Blackwood Lane and a hidden room. The letter was written in a shaky hand, the ink faded with age, but the message was clear. It spoke of secrets buried within the walls of the old mansion, secrets that only the key could unlock. Lucas's heart raced as he read the words, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. What could his grandfather have hidden away in that house? And why had he chosen to reveal it now after his death? Lucas, driven by curiosity and a longing to connect with his past, found himself at the foot of the dilapidated mansion. The house stood like a sentinel of forgotten times, its windows dark and empty, its walls crumbling with age. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the wind whispered through the broken windows, carrying with it the echoes of a bygone era. Lucas felt a shiver run down his spine as he approached the front door, the key clutched tightly in his hand. He had been searching for hours, the key heavy in his pocket. The mansion was a labyrinth of dark hallways and hidden rooms, each corner filled with shadows and the remnants of a life once lived. Lucas's flashlight flickered as he moved through the house, casting eerie shapes on the walls. He could feel the weight of the key pressing against his leg with every step, a constant reminder of the mystery he was trying to unravel. The lawyer had mentioned a hidden door, but the house seemed to mock him with its endless corridors and locked rooms. Each door he tried was either locked or led to another empty room filled with dust and the ghosts of the past. Lucas's frustration grew with each failed attempt, the sense of urgency gnawing at him. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, that the house itself was alive and aware of his presence. Just as despair began to set in, a faint glimmer caught his eye. It was a small, almost imperceptible light shining from the end of a long, dark hallway. Lucas's heart skipped a beat as he moved towards it, the key in his pocket feeling lighter with each step. The glimmer grew brighter as he approached, revealing a hidden door, its surface covered in dust and cobwebs. With trembling hands, Lucas pulled out the key and inserted it into the lock, feeling a sense of anticipation and fear. What lay beyond this door? What secrets had his grandfather hidden away? As the lock clicked open, Lucas took a deep breath and pushed the door open, ready to uncover the truth. At the end of a long, dusty hallway, a faint light flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The air was thick with dust, and the silence was almost deafening, broken only by the occasional creak of the old wooden floorboards. Lucas approached cautiously, his heart pounding in his chest. Each step felt like an eternity, the weight of the unknown pressing down on him. He could feel the tension in his muscles, his senses heightened as he moved closer to the source of the light. The light seemed to emanate from beneath a heavy oak door, its surface concealed by layers of dust and cobwebs. The door looked ancient, as if it hadn't been opened in decades. The light was a stark contrast to the darkness that enveloped the hallway, almost inviting yet ominous. Lucas ran his hand over the rough wood, his fingers tracing the outline of an intricate carving. The design was elaborate, depicting scenes of battles and mythical creatures. It was as if the door itself held stories of a forgotten past waiting to be uncovered. As his fingers brushed against the cold metal of a handle, a shiver shot up his arm. The handle was icy to the touch, sending a chill through his body. It felt as though the door was warning him, urging him to turn back. It was a rusty, ornate thing, shaped like a serpent with ruby eyes that seemed to gleam in the darkness. The serpent's eyes were mesmerizing, almost hypnotic, drawing Lucas in despite the sense of danger that loomed. He hesitated, a sense of foreboding washing over him. The air around him seemed to grow colder and the silence became more oppressive. Lucas took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. He knew that whatever lay beyond the door could change everything, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he was meant to find out. With a final glance at the flickering light, he reached for the handle, his heart racing with anticipation and dread. Taking a deep breath, Lucas gripped the serpent's head and turned the handle. The handle was cold to the touch, its intricate design a testament to the craftsmanship of a bygone era. As he twisted it, the metal groaned in protest, as if reluctant to reveal the secrets it guarded. The door creaked open, releasing a musty odor like the breath of a tomb. The scent was overwhelming, a mixture of decay and time, as if the room had been sealed for centuries, preserving the echoes of the past. The air inside was heavy, thick with the weight of forgotten memories. Each breath Lucas took felt like inhaling the essence of history, a tangible reminder of lives once lived and stories long untold. Dust motes danced in the pale moonlight, filtering through a crack in the boarded-up window. The light was faint, barely enough to illuminate the room, but it cast an ethereal glow on the dust, making it seem like tiny stars suspended in the air. Lucas stepped inside, his footsteps muffled by the thick carpet of dust. Each step he took left a clear imprint, a temporary mark in the sea of neglect that covered the floor. The room was cluttered, filled with strange and unsettling objects. It was as if the room was a repository for the bizarre and the forgotten. Each item a relic of a different time and place, each with its own story to tell. A gramophone stood silent in the corner, its horn resembling a gaping maw. The silence was almost deafening, as if the gramophone was waiting for the right moment to break it with a haunting melody from the past. Dolls with vacant eyes stared from a dusty shelf, their porcelain faces cracked and chipped. They seemed to watch Lucas as he moved, their lifeless eyes following his every step, adding to the eerie atmosphere of the room.
Shadows danced on the walls, cast by the flickering light from the window. The room seemed alive, as if the shadows themselves were whispering secrets of the forgotten, urging Lucas to uncover the mysteries hidden within.
As Lucas's eyes adjusted to the dimness, he noticed a large, shadowy figure huddled in the corner.
Fear coiled in my stomach, cold and tight.
He raised his flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness. The figure remained still, shrouded in shadows, its form indistinct.
Hello?
Lucas's voice echoed in the silence, thin and reedy. The figure didn't move, it sat hunched over, its back to him as if lost in some silent contemplation. Lucas took a tentative step closer, his hand trembling. He could hear his own breath, shallow and rapid in the oppressive silence. "Turn back," a voice whispered, seeming to emanate from the very walls themselves. It was a low, raspy voice filled with an ancient sorrow. Lucas froze, his blood turning to ice. He swung his flashlight around, searching for the source of the voice.
Who's there?
The room was empty, save for him and the shadowy figure in the corner. He could feel his heart pounding against his ribs, his breath catching in his throat. The voice chuckled, a dry, brittle sound that sent chills down Lucas's spine.
"This place. It remembers," the voice whispered, the sound seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once.
Lucas's hand trembled as he fumbled with his flashlight. He had to get out, escape the suffocating darkness and the whispers that clawed at the edges of his sanity. He turned to flee, but the door was gone. In its place was a solid wall, the intricate carving now appearing menacing like the leering face of a demon. Panic welled up inside him, choking him with its icy fingers. He was trapped. Lucas ran his hands over the wall, desperately searching for a seam, a handle, anything that would allow him to escape. But there was nothing, only cold, unyielding stone. The air grew colder, the silence punctuated by the drip, drip, drip of water from a crack in the ceiling.
Desperate. No, no, no!
You cannot leave, the voice whispered, closer now, right beside his ear. This place, it is yours now.
Lucas spun around, his heart pounding in his chest. But there was no one there. He was alone, yet he felt a cold, unseen presence closing in on him. Lucas sank to the floor, his back against the wall, his eyes wide with terror. He could feel the darkness pressing in on him, suffocating him. The house was alive, he realized, and he was trapped within its grasp.
Whispering, forgotten memories, pain and suffering, darkness consumes all.
The whispers started again, swirling around him like a vortex of despair. They spoke of forgotten memories, of pain and suffering, of a darkness that consumed all. Lucas closed his eyes, his mind teetering on the brink of madness. The house on Blackwood Lane had claimed another victim.